So I apparently just recorded, what is it, like 30-minute tutorial. I'm just kind of having fun doing stuff, but realized that I recorded my OBS screen. I've never used it before. This was my first try, and unfortunately it kind of came out with my face talking to OBS. So that sucks. But I thought I'd try it again. I think I learned quite a bit then as well, so maybe it'll make it easier for you. I've deleted all my lights. So what I'm going to do is, this is kind of going to be the general setup. Is my model. I put a plane in the background. Leave it for now to show you how I do things like that. With this model, it's going to be on my Patreon for free. If you kind of like subscribe to it, whatever, it's $5 a month. Get a coffee. It's kind of cool. Yeah, and super cheap for this model and setup and stuff. Also, I put on heaps. Pretty much every Blender file that I make, I kind of put up on here. So yeah, check it out if you want. It's super cool. And yeah, we'll kind of jump in and see what we're going to do. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go through my render settings. So how I pretty much just render, because when I first started, it took me about half an hour going through tutorials to figure out how to actually just click render and render image, because maybe it's just so basic, but it took me a while. So my basic render setup is going to be, I do 32 by 3200. I do that because it's double 1600, which is the Instagram average size. I'm not too sure why I do that. You might notice me saying that quite a bit in this tutorial, but that's why I really like it. I kind of, everything on here I kind of just play around with until I like it. So if I don't know the terminology and stuff, my bad, I'm sorry, but I can kind of explain it best I can. I kind of just leave this stuff for now, because you can do that in the render thing, but I mean, this is going to be, I'll do a PNG. It doesn't need to be alpha, so just ignore that, whatever. Oh, I mean, fuck, why not, while I'm here? So if you wanted to render this with a black background, I mean with no background whatsoever, you can go in Photoshop and chuck things behind it. You would do RGBA and render out that way. If you wanted to render out a video, this is a weird one, is you go to like the FFmpeg. I know what the fuck this is, but I've rendered that out by accident before and it just sucked. But for alpha, so with no background, so you can put it in After Effects something, is the way I figure it is QuickTime, weirdly enough. And then QT and QT animation. And so if you render out like this, it should, yeah, it'll render out without the background. You just need to click RGBA. So that's how you do that. I don't know if that's what you want to do, but I find that pretty helpful. I'll just do PNG for now. It's going to be background, so it doesn't matter. So I just use cycles. I use experimental. No idea why. Pretty experimental person, I guess, so I'll figure it out. GPU compute, because I'm running M1. I always leave the samples at 4096, because I'm not really too worried about the samples, more about the more time you put into the render, the more samples it's going to render. So I usually just leave that same, and I just put in, the MacBook's not really the best, so if I wanted, I spend like 3 minutes, and then I click render, and I kind of see what it looks like. So it's kind of cool. So if what I usually do is, if I'm going to crash out, I'll do it for my sleep pattern. So every night before I go to sleep, I'll try and render something. So I'll chuck in like, I don't know, say like 8 hours. It's like everyone's average. Not that I've slept like that in a long time, but for now I'll just pick with 3 minutes so I can remember how to do this. When you do put the canvas size or the resolution up to 3200, make sure you go down to the performance, and change this as well. You can have it, I don't know, you can put like 20, and it will do 20 resolution squares that will go and build up the image. But I like to just leave it exact same as the kind of resolution canvas size, so it just goes with the whole image, so you can see what it looks like. So with these, so the only other setting I really use is the color management. So I usually change it to medium to high contrast. It's kind of self-explanatory. It adds a little bit of contrast. Linear ASSG picks up a lot more of the caustics, if that's kind of what you're after, or a lot more of the lighting off reflective surfaces and stuff as well. I think. I'm pretty sure. And I usually turn the exposure up and like down quite a bit, so they can focus on like a couple lights. I like things being real dark, but I've noticed a lot of people on Instagram, if you make it quite bright, people are more likely to like it and stuff like that because it's eye-catching or something. But I like the darker images, so I usually put that down a bit, but I'll do that a little bit later on. And then, yeah, that's pretty much my entire render setup, I think. I clicked this off before transparent because I'll show you that after I put the HDR in. And yeah, chilling. So that's chilling on that. Let's have a look. So first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put an infinity wall. I'm not gonna use it for this, but I think it's also super helpful if you're ever doing product design. So in a way, this is semi a beginner's tutorial on lighting. Infinity wall. I might do some materials and textures, but I don't think I'll have time. But I will do it next one for sure. I want to do how I do all the skin pores and everything. And this metal chrome mesh, I've already put a tutorial up for if you want to check that out. But yeah, so this one's mostly just lighting, just small tips, how I render, HDRIs, things like that. So Shift A, chuck in a plane. For an infinity wall, you want to go Tab, and you want to choose this one, the edge select. And you pick the edge that you want it to be like a skate ramp sort of thing. E and Z to extrude and scale on the Z axis. I can't even remember that stuff, hey? Z axis. Alright, and then I know on Mac it's Control B. I can't remember what it is on Windows, but whatever Control equals out to on Windows. And your first should start like this. I've already beveled this, so it's sorry if that's a bit distracting. So when you first do the bevel, which is the Control B, it'll come up like this, and use your mouse wheel or your trackpad to just scroll up or down. You can add and take away as many divisions as you want. It's not really too important. You don't need to go intense with them, because you can just shade smooth, and so it kind of just gives you the shape that you want. But if you wanted more, you can add more, things like that. So that's how you do the infinity wall, and it's really good for product design. Maybe we'll do that like in the next one or something. But yeah, so that's the infinity wall. But for this one, I'm just gonna focus on giving her like a back shadow, so you can see her shadow, like she's standing really close to a wall or something. So I'll grab plane. I'll go RX90 to turn 9 degrees. It looks kind of like Han Solo from Star Wars. That's kind of dope. G and Y to move it back. Dope. So just put a wall behind her head. It's super basic. And that is literally just, let's move it back a bit. It's just to pick up her shadow. It just gives it more depth instead of just a pure black background without anything there at all. I've set my camera up pretty basically. So all I've done is move the camera with camera to view to her face. If you know what camera to view is, it's how you can move the camera around and then leave it somewhere. Super helpful. Get those little angles going. I know. I'll go. She's got a big bald head, so I'll kind of just chuck it like, get rid of that dome. Nah, fuck, I don't know. Big dome though. So my camera settings for this one is 250mm. So that pretty much like flattens. I don't know if you've seen that TikTok trend where people are like, this isn't how I really look, and they go dun dun and zooms out. It's pretty much just that. So the human eye, I think, sees it like 18mm, but so 50mm up close, it's really round. And then yeah, 250mm. I don't know the technical term for it. I think it pushes the foreground something. Don't know, but play around with it. It's super cool. I'll add in depth of field afterwards because I've kind of just learned how to use that, but it's super cool. Get the camera. Okay, so that's kind of my camera. That's my rendering. Infinity wall. It's a plane. Now I'm just gonna chuck in some lighting. So I'm gonna start with Blender Kit. So Blender Kit is super helpful. It's an add-on, really easy to add in and install. There's a free version, which you get lots of these for free. I've got the paid version. It's only like $12 a month or something like that. And it's super helpful. So you can get unlimited HDRIs. You can get models. If you want to go to sleep digitally, that's kind of dope. You get all materials. Super handy. Most of these ones are locked. I think. Yeah, and then yeah, HDRIs and some brushes for your sculpting. But I'm using HDRI for this one. I'm gonna choose a super bright HDRI because what I'm gonna use this HDRI for is, I'll put a link in the description for that as well. But I'm gonna use it as just a really, really subtle light. So right now it'll be like insanely bright. Switch into world. Oh, the MacBook can't handle it. Yeah, I think I need to get a new computer at some point, but there's a good little break to have a coffee. Sorry if it's annoying. I'm trying to be this like educational and fun. Like if you just want to hang out for a bit and kind of like make something with me. It's always cool. Always fun. So there you go. It's finally showed up. Do not get a MacBook for design. Unless it's Adobe Suite, but you know, whatever. So it's kind of like it's overshooting, like it's super, super bright. So I'm gonna turn this down to like maybe 0.2 again, just a test. See how it comes out. Oh man, it was not going this slow before I recorded the good tutorial and I accidentally recorded the OBS the whole time. I should sort itself out. I did before anyway. Yeah, so because I'm trying my best not to edit these tutorials, because I do want people to see that you do make mistakes. You make lots of mistakes, and you learn and you figure stuff out, and I think that's super important. So if you want to skip through, go for that. But I mean, this is how I learn. I just make as many mistakes as I can, and sometimes you actually make some kind of cool stuff, which is super, super nice. But yeah, this is a weird one. Actually, I haven't really had this happen before. I mean, that's all good, right? Just small intermission. Well, this is catching on fire. Okay, so I've turned the brightness down a lot. And what I'm going to add in here is I'm going to go to the render settings, or the scene settings. And I'm going to quickly go down to film. And I'm going to click transparent, because I don't want that background there. So as you can kind of see now, it's, you know, as what it is. There's no big background. So what I want to do with this light is I want it to be super, super, super subtle. So even that's like a little bit too strong. This is like a very, very far background key light sort of thing. So this picks up the little bits. Oh man, this is fucked. Maybe I should re-edit this. Should I edit this video? I don't know. I mean, I like it because, like, you know, this is what I deal with whenever I'm making anything. This is what it's like for me. So if you want to see that, just have a yarn. But when it does that, just skip forward and you'll see the color change. You'll know where it is. So Shift A, I'm going to start in some lights. So I'm going to put the 3D cursor there so that whenever I bring a light, it's going to appear where I've just put it. Checking the area light. So this scene is super, super small. So this will be 10 watts. Yeah. So even 10 watts is insanely bright. So I'm going to bring that right down. I mean, you should probably know this. I don't. I don't know if I want to go for like a lovely look or like a harsh look or anything, but like I just like to play around, and you figure out your own. You come up with something different. Like, you know, you don't need to copy me exactly, but you can always find kind of cool stuff. So a small light has a lot more less fall off, I think it's called. Yeah, less fall off. So it gives you that like big shiny dome. Look how big a dome is. So I'm going to right down. So I like my line to be super, super subtle. Another light I'm going to put in is the point light. So with the point light, I really like to use it. I very rarely use it, but I do like to use it for just kind of highlighting behind. So you add that line and it kind of gives these like this bit here, it gives light going like around, if that makes sense. And this is by far the strangest view of a human I've ever seen. What the fuck? But yeah, so that's the point light. I'm going to turn it down heaps. I mean, you can leave it if you like. It gives a real nice overexposed look from behind. But I have got lots more lights to put in, so I might just go 0.1. So it gives this big bright light behind. But as you can see, it kind of does a little bit of lighting just like around the edges. So it's doing this type of lighting. So it's picking up that. So this lighting is from the area light, and that's kind of like pushing down. So these are getting picked up by this area light as well. So you can kind of see, I've put lots and lots of gloss or specular onto my character so that you can see exactly where the lights are hitting. Just makes it way more helpful for you guys. I'm actually not 100% sure, but I mean, I'm figuring it out. I don't even know how to delete this thing. This is the only way I know how to do it. Is there an easier way? Let me know. So there's 2 lights already. Again, that big ass dome is getting hella lit up. So the light behind is doing this one and one area light on top. So that's super, super basic already. And it looks kind of cool. Kind of moody if you zoom out a bit. One thing I'm going to do now though, like I said earlier, is I like to turn down the exposure. I think I was saying this in the last tutorial. I can't think it's starting to get blended, but yeah, a lot of people on Instagram like the bright lights, but I think a lot more quality comes from darker lights, and a lot more like melancholy and kind of like a moody little face. So my next light, I'm checking another area. I pushed 7 to go to top view as well. So this is kind of like called the 3-point key light. Maybe not key light. 3-point light sort of thing, where they kind of go up and fuck, what do you call it? So that noise is hella distracting. They go up in strength as they get further away to give more fall off and more direct light. Depends on where you want it. So this light isn't doing anything yet because it's facing down. So RX90, flip her that way. So, I mean, like I said, I'm making this up as I go. I haven't practiced this. So I do quite like how this lighting's looking on this character, just on the face. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to turn this into kind of a key light. So I'm going to move it back like quite a bit. Oh, dude, a super cool tip is Shift T when you're in light mode, and you can point it to wherever you cursor. That's awesome. So right in the face, kaboom. And now I'm going to turn that power up. Maybe it's like, it doesn't bring up, blow it up, but like 1,000. Whoa. Okay, yeah, maybe not 1,000. But if you did want to do 1,000, you could get some real wavy kind of like moody colors, because it's just like overexposed. So you turn the exposure and it kind of like mixes quite strangely. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to put it back up to like quite low this time actually. Where is that light? So I might actually just see what 100 looks like. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of cool. So it brightens up the whole scene like quite a bit more. But you do still have those really subtle little lights from the HDRI. And another good one for the subtle lights is grab a sun. This is actually one of my favorite lights because it adds in the big shadow kind of behind her head. If that makes sense. Hopefully it does. I'm going to go Shift T and just... This is really Shift T and you can... Look at that. Amazing. You can just figure out where you want your shadow. It's like you're drawing it. So I'm going to put it a little bit behind her, kind of, maybe like that. Oh, a little bit too far. I want to be able to see it. There we go. Okay, so that point light is destroying it a bit. Which is fine. I don't really mind it too much. Let's... So I'm still figuring out stuff. I was just trying to work out if you move it back far enough, you can darken the shadows. But what I'll do is I'll go back to that point light. And I'll turn it down a bit more. I think that's as far as it goes. Yeah, so that's kind of how you get the shadow bit. I'm going to leave that in. I'm not really... I kind of like it being super, super subtle back there like that. The sun's really good for changing the kind of general tone as well. So if you do change the light a bit, it can pick up like a ton of little nuanced lights and stuff, little bits of oranges and yellows and reds and stuff. That's what you're into. I'm gonna leave mine as white though, and the radius I'm gonna put up to... Damn it! Isn't the last one so much better with the the shadows, because with the sun, it's, sorry, hang on, I'm tripping big time. I thought it was in the sun. There you go. There's the sun. With the sun, I was tripping. Yeah. So that's how you can change the. My bad. I hope this is fun because it's not the greatest. So let's make it like, I don't know. Let's make it a little orange. Why not? That's kind of cool. So these lines here, if you want these lines to be super sharp, you turn this down, maybe not to 0, but like very low. And if you want it to just be like a big soft shadow, as if the light is very far away, oops, that's the strength. I usually go to like 10 or 11 for this, and it just not blurs it, but it just softens it like quite a lot. So yeah, so there's that. That's kind of cool. I'm actually going to turn this down heaps, because I'd actually rather it to be just a very subtle little orangey light, which is quite cool. Alright, so that's what? So that's 3 lights, and a sun, and HDRI for the line so far. And it just gives this real nice little subtle tinge. For now, actually, I'm just going to change this to black, because I want to be able to see the model a bit more. And plus the shadow comes out a bit cooler. Oh, that's vaping. Okay, so, I mean, it's looking pretty sweet. Nothing too, like, spectacular yet, but let's get in there. I'm going to chuck in another light, just an area light. And with this one, I'm going to move it very, very far back and make it so shifting. That might be the face. And I'm just going to scale it right down. Like right down. And then I'm going to point it right under this little bit on the right. And fuck it, let's just see what this does. 1,700 power? Why not? What I will do is I'll get rid of this thing. And while this is doing that, get rid of this thing. Yeah, I found something to do during it. But you notice I kind of just make it up as I go. It's kind of fun, but it can be kind of shit, unfortunately. Like this. Yep. Oh, it's frozen. Oh no, it hasn't. But yeah, I think the goal with the line is just super, like, soft lights, especially if it's a portrait. Like a really, really beautiful soft light is just so much more powerful. So you can see that little tiny light has made this super harsh shadow, and that is not what I was just talking about. So this is the new one. So 1,000, that's obviously just way too much. But, so if I wanted less of a dark shadow behind, so similar to the in the sun, so that's at 10 for the angle, it's really similar. So if I wanted it to be softer, I would just make it bigger. So the bigger the light, it's hard to explain some of this stuff. I don't get it. It's cool though. But yeah, so that's it turns into that. So does that make sense? So it kind of like falls off. Which is kind of cool. I might do this down to like maybe like 400. Kind of get that little moody kind of like darkness. I'm actually going to move this because I want a shadow to be in a different spot. So I'm going to move it so it's not, so it's more like directly on her sort of thing. Oops. Sweet, that should be real good. I think there's another light as well, actually. There's this one here that's doing the big one. Let's put it straight on. Why not? Give it a crack. Okay, what the fuck is doing this light? Nah, it's cool, just kidding. So, yeah, so really subtle little light in the background. And, like, I'm just going to finish there. I hope this is super helpful. What I'm going to do, and I usually do to finish it though, is to make all the lights kind of softer and blend in together. As I'll just move it down a bit. I mean, I like it like, maybe like that. but like I was saying, the people on Instagram and algorithm things don't. You can go like that if you want. I think you see a little bit of an eye. But yeah, I think the exposure is really important to just kind of finalize that cool little light that you're after. So for now, I think I might just stick with that. I don't make it too long. I kind of want to make it just like a hangout thing, but I'll show you compositing as well, actually. So what if I rendered this for 3 minutes, I think? 3 minutes, yeah. So I'll just leave it 3 minutes. Oh, it's 3 seconds. Like, this is hard just talking to yourself like this. It's fucking weird. Not a fan, really. So while it's going to do a little render, I will show you a little bit of compositing. So this is what I made before in my tutorial before it didn't record because I caked it. So when you first click on use nodes, the first thing that comes up will be this one and this one. So it's composite and the render. So this is your render, your image, and you want to put your render into your composite. So this is the final output sort of thing. I'm going to add in a viewer. So with a viewer, that is a way to view it as it's getting composited. So you can chuck that in there, and once the render's done, it's not going to show up yet, but there'll be like a square just like this behind. Another thing as well is I actually don't know how to do. I know there's a way to cut these and combine them and add on like little bits. I could just push all the buttons and try and guess, but I don't think I'll be able to. So I'm going to add in one of the only compositing things I ever really use, just in the glare. That's cool. I think it's sick. It's kind of it's a real subtle thing if you do it properly that everybody uses, like everyone. So the glare is taking the rendered image and it's put into the glare, and it's splitting from composite to viewer. It might take a few minutes for this to pop up, which is super annoying. Let's have a look. Oh, that's me. Where's my render? Yeah, so it's taking a little while. Fuck, it'd be cool if it would hurry up and load so I can show you what it looks like. How's your day going today? If you've made it through this far, I'm just going to finish off my cigarette. I hope that you don't mind. Really trying to make this as like hangout as possible. I mean, I'm not going to tell you about the bokeh lights and the technical jargon. I don't really care. If it's important, it's fine. But generally, I don't think it matters that much. I just like to fuck around with shit. Like, just drag a bunch of sliders around, figure out what they do, and you'll find your own style from doing that as well, which is like kind of the best way to go. I'd strongly recommend do like a tutorial, like watch tutorials, but don't follow exactly what they're doing. Like if someone puts their power of their light to, I don't know, like 50, you don't need to do 50 as well. Make it your own. Do it like 69. Yeah, sick. But yeah, like I mean, you can literally do anything. It's up to you, and you should be changing it as much as you possibly can. So this is very basic, but this is just showing you where to put the light in general and a few other things. I probably should have made the background black because it's kind of takes away a bit from what it is. But this is just pretty much so you can see where the lighting hits. So it's all hidden up there, and that's from the top light. The shadows coming from the really far away light over here, and the sun and the HDRI is picking up these really slow, low light little bits. Okay, now I should be able to. Nope, that's not it. Fuck, I suck at this thing. Where's Blender? What? Oh, here we go. Okay. Don't get a MacBook, eh? I caked that one big time. But that's right. 77% done. I could just cancel it. I could just stop this now, but I'm just gonna wait till it's done and show you a little bit of compositing. Don't know if it's really like what you need to watch or anything, but just hang out if you want. I'm not doing too much. Might just you know? Do little activities, try and figure out how to juggle maybe. That's kind of dope. Check that out. Fuck. So, it's almost done. I think it's just doing the final little render stages now. 39 seconds, apparently. There's so much more I'd like to show actually in this, but I don't want to do it all at once, because it is kind of boring to watch a tutorial this long. So I'm trying to make it fun as well as informative and educational. But this is kind of just an all-rounded tutorial. I'm going to try and do all the textures and stuff like that, and the eyes and skin pores and all that sort of stuff very, 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 very soon. Maybe in the next couple of days. Don't know. That'd be kind of dope. Should we finish in a second? You can usually click on image. Oh, so if you don't know how to save images, so you just click on image and you can go to save, save as, save copy, save all images. Once you go save as, Jesus, unless you render for ages, I hate that. I wait for the noise. Oh, so this is with my compositing, which looks terrible. That's not okay. So let's have a look at that in Blender. Where is it? Is this it? Yeah, it is. So V to zoom out, and Option V to zoom in. If Flatmate's talking about me, what are they saying? Only good things. Okay, so handy little tip. That's kind of the noise. So if you render this out for a couple hours, it'll look fucking dope. But for now, it's looking pretty shit. But you get the point. So fog glow is the one I usually use, and that adds these tiny little it's like a light like this, and it kind of adds like a glow around it, pretty much, which is real handy. You can put to medium, high, and low. Low's small, but it gives a lot more. I'll just show you. So low just gives a lot more of a. It's kind of like an emission more than anything else. I like to go high though. I really like fine details. Something else you can do. So it's Shift A, so it's the exact same as the other. So compositing is the same as any other node setups. I'll do another glare because you can do 50 of them if you want. You just keep doubling them up. And I'll put it on streaks. Like this is again, just fuck with it. So like this is 4. Let's do 16. Why not? I don't know. Could look cool. Could look terrible. I'll put it onto high, and we can view it on the render. So this should be compositing now. Look how cool she is. It's actually taking. I mean, I hope that you have a way better computer than me, because it will just go so much faster. Alright, so let's see. So I have to do the composite. Yeah, okay. Well, I can't do it. The last one was so much better. That sucks. But you get the gist. So you can add as many glares and all sorts of things as you want. I like to just kind of do one usually, to be honest. But I mean, yeah, I might just leave it there for now. But I really hope you like it. Like I was saying, I just kind of want it to be fun and experimental and like just trying shit and figuring it out. I hope you don't mind my swearing or any of that sort of stuff. So, but yeah, I really hope that you enjoyed it. Any comments at all whatsoever, just let me know, because I want to make it as good as possible for you guys to actually learn stuff. Because I want it to be educational, but I also want it to be fun. So, I mean, if you don't want it to be fun, I can robot out and, you know, learn some technical jargon and chuck in my vernacular and try and explain stuff to use words that only a few people know. It's fucking dumb. Yep, there you go. Peace. Have fun. I've got other videos, so they're kind of dope.